Hey you guys, welcome new people here today. I have words of wisdom and a demo for you, Beverly. This is to help you remember what we review on the stretch after the stretch table throughout the week that we do. So it's a mobility flow, and some of them always seem like they look the same, but they're definitely different. The objective is to get you from the floor and back up off the floor. Too many really fit people are having trouble now getting on and off of the floor. It's kind of crazy. Craziness. Anyway, words of wisdom. They're a bit faith-driven here today, and it goes like this. Stretch what is tight. Strengthen what is weak. And let go of what's holding you back to make room for the new and the better. Okay, so stretching not just the muscles, but maybe it's something in your mind, or maybe you have a really black and white way of thinking, really very one way, and you don't know how to see anyone else's point of view. Or maybe you're just a little bit uncaring to their point of view. I don't know. Maybe you are. Anyway, stretch what's tight. Could be that of your muscles or your mind, and then strengthen what's weak. So find ways to build yourself up on the inside in a healthy way. And that's more than just muscles. And also letting go is a hard thing to do. I know that. But if you can look at it from the point of view to allow the better to come in, that would be the purpose. All right, so this is what it looks like, guys. I'm going to have my class practice this, and then we'll break it down. So it actually starts on the floor in an effort to get you up off of the floor. But I have to go to the floor to show you how. So I'm always going to come down into this inchworm here. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually stretch out. And then I'm going to roll to the side, take this leg up in the air, feel a stretch. Bethany always liked this one. Bethany, the other leg comes up. We do this like Pilates, roll over, and then we come up, flip around to here, back over into the lunge stance. That's a lunge stance, in which I then stand up and reverse. So this is just what it looks like, and then we'll go through it slow for you guys. And then we just reverse out of it, and then actually not reverse out of it. We'll start on this side, and then we come back down, and then lower yourself to the floor. Now I'm going to roll this way, lifting one leg, the other lifts, and I'm doing like a Pilates. Roll over and roll up, and then back over. Lift the legs so you can flip over, and then flip back over and right on into the lunge where you stand. So that's the flow of it. Let's break it down for everyone. And you guys can take a stretch. You don't have to flow through this. I know you did, but I really want you to try. All right, I do. If you're down here on the floor, the side stretch comes in. So this leg is stretching up. And you get a great stretch there. You roll onto your back, the hips all open, the other leg comes up. And you may be good with just two knees pulled in. You may be good in a happy baby, or maybe the legs are here. If your legs are here, you use a little bit of this reverse curl, and it gives you a little bit of a rocking action, and it brings that momentum in. And then you're just simply flipping over onto the table to all fours, where you can come up into a downward dog at that stretch. That leg flips around over. And even if you're just here at the table, and then you sit, and then you open up the book, and then you just take the knees to the other side. You could do these like incline windshield washers. They will be good to do for your spine and rotation. And then we have to then flip back over, coming back up to the table. So this would be how you make that transition. By digging your toes to the floor, lifting your knees, and then bringing that leg forward. You can just then take a seat, or not a seat, but let your hips fall to the floor and find some comfort in your upper body, and you'll get a stretch here. But so we don't have to rush through it. You can just take the benefit of the stretch. Bill, did you finish stretching? Sue? do you want to do these stretches, or are you done? All right, gotta go. All right, thanks for coming today. Bye. Be careful. And then from here, so then you dig that back toe, lift up the knee. Now the back foot is gonna turn out, see, and then I reline myself here over my thigh, and I can actually use the thigh for some support, like so. And then it's simple. Then you're just lifting up and then stepping together. And I'm just gonna go through this again one more time because it can be confusing, but it's broken down, and if you go slow enough, it would be so great to practice. So I'm gonna come out of this in a reversal way. Actually, I'm not, because I did it differently. So now I'm here, and then I'm just gonna, in an effort to show you how to get up off of the floor, I gotta get down to the floor. So I'm just inchworming my way down, right? So that I can show you. So if you are on the floor and you're on your belly and you gotta get up, this is a way to do it. So I'm gonna, for this particular demo, I'm rolling onto the side to get up. There's many ways to get up. And then the knee comes in, so you'll feel a stretch here. You can do a stretch there. All right, and then the knee comes in as you roll onto your back. This is a stretch right here all by itself. You can try to straighten your leg up. Little movement there. People use the straps, and that's very helpful. And then the other knee comes in, and so your choice is to pull both knees in and stretch out your low back, or bring it into this happy baby-like stretch. Or if you can, you're trying to get your legs straight, and then you kind of peel your tailbone up off of the floor. Sort of like a reverse crunch hip hike. And then what happens after, like this by itself, is a stretch, right? If we can't do that, then we're right here for now. And then the transition happens because we're then going to keep rolling in that direction, and bend your knees here, and then just come on up onto all fours in this direction. And then I'm not going to do the downward dog. Instead, I'm going to do the version where the hip just opens up. And if you're in the all fours position, like Sue, this would be good for you. You know, this is going to enable you to just flip it around this way, and now you're still kind of in a seated position, and then you go ahead, and now we kind of keep rolling in that direction. But this is where I showed you, if you drop your knees side to side on an incline, good way to unlock your back, and like that hip area with the rotators. So I would suggest just staying here for a little bit, and then you go ahead and continue to move in that direction. And then this time the arm comes up and around, and that leg, it swivels right around into this lunge stance. That's the thing. And then when you're here with your back knee, it can be on the floor. You can like slide it back further and then lean into it so your hip drops. And then all of a sudden you're getting the great hip flexor stretch. And then this top leg can kind of, see how I'm just making a little bit of movement here at the top, and it's rolling in and out. And then we have to get back up. Now how do we get up from this position? Shift back a little bit so that both knees are at like 90. And then you're just gonna dig the back toe to the floor, and then I straddle my front foot with my two hands and line myself up, and then I lift up the back knee. So just to make this transition, it would be a lot of balance in this position. So it'll help you better in your balance if you turn your back foot out right now, but you're still hinged over on your thigh. But then this is when you come up. What is that? I have a corset. I have no, probably from your banquet you had. No, that's not mine. Okay, so your back knee or your back foot is turned out. Spine's lifted. You're lifting up here first, realigning your shoulders down and back. then you're stepping together. And then always again in an effort, we did the postural check this week in the group for your reminder, right? So I'll remind you again, most of you are at an office or a desk of some sort, so taking that second to do these really makes a difference. And then one at a time, pulling back, and then again, the head goes side to side. We got to keep the shoulders down, and then a drop and roll. You know, twist back. When I'm standing, these are really good to do. Like I showed you the ones to do in the chair earlier in the week, but now if you do this while you're standing, you're going to get even more coming into play. Let the arms be heavy, and that's just, you know, again, just another, it's so fun. These things are fun for me. That's why I do it. I don't know if you perceive them as fun or weird, I don't know, but they work. So change your mind and change your life. That is what I have for you today. Change your mind and change your life. All right. See you next time.